Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin clocks in for duty. Trainee nurse among 4 new COVID-19 cases. Hello and good afternoon. I'm Mohana Priya. Welcome to Updates at Noon. The 8th Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, officially started his work today. He arrived at the Perdana Putra building, which houses the Prime Minister's office, at 8 a.m. to begin his official duty as the country's new Prime Minister. Upon his arrival, Tan Sri Muhyiddin was welcomed by Chief Secretary to the government, Datuk Sri Mohammad Zuki Ali, before being taken to the 5th floor where his office is located. Prayers were recited before he entered his office, and Tan Sri Muhyiddin also signed the commencement of duty book. Tan Sri Muhyiddin, 72, took his oath of office as the 8th Prime Minister before Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah at the Istana Negara yesterday. Al-Sultan Abdullah appointed Tan Sri Muhyiddin as the new Prime Minister in accordance with Articles 40 subsection 2A and 43 subsection 2A of the Federal Constitution. On his first day, Tan Sri Muhyiddin was slated to have meetings with Datuk Sri Mohammad Zuki, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Bador, and Defence Force Chief General Tan Sri Effendi Buang. Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong yesterday became the first foreign leader to congratulate Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin on being sworn in as the 8th Prime Minister. Hsien Loong is confident that Singapore's relationship with Malaysia will grow under the leadership of Tan Sri Muhyiddin. The Singapore Premier congratulated Tan Sri Muhyiddin over the phone and invited him to visit Singapore soon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Prime Minister.
Hi, how are you, Tan Sri? I should call you Perdana Menteri.
So, Alhamdulillah, things have in a way settled down.
Well, we hope that you put all the ruffles behind you and you'll be able to move forward and bring the country together again.
Yes, I think that's very important for me. I think our relationship with Singapore has been very good. And now, of course, it's a big task for me to move forward. And
so I would like to invite you to come to Singapore as soon as you can make the time when you have settled your most urgent priorities in Putrajaya.
Well, thank you very much for calling me.
So I wish you all the best. You have a very massive task ahead. I mean, you have had a long experience in Malaysian politics and government, so I have every confidence that you will be able to be on top of it and we can work together with you.
Yes, thank you for your advice. So I hope to see you as soon as possible. Thanks.
We look forward to receiving you to Singapore.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Perdana Menteri.
Yes, Perdana Menteri. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Meanwhile, Hsien Loong wrote at length on his Facebook page about his first meeting with Tan Sri Muhyiddin in 1985 when he accompanied Dr. Tony Tan, then Singapore's Minister for Trade and Industry, to Kuala Lumpur for an Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting. Tan Sri Muhyiddin, then the Ministry of Trade and Industry Deputy Minister, had received them at the airport. Meanwhile, congratulatory messages have been pouring in for Tan Sri Muhyiddin following his appointment as Prime Minister. Among others, Indonesian President Joko Widodo, or Jokowi as he is fondly called, became the latest to congratulate Tan Sri Muhyiddin on the occasion of his swearing-in.
Atas nama bangsa Indonesia, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat atas pelantikan yang amat terhormat Bapak Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin oleh Yang di-Pertuan Agong sebagai Perdana Menteri Malaysia ke-8.
Terima kasih, Bapak.
Pemerintah Indonesia siap bekerja sama dengan pemerintahan yang amat terhormat Tan Sri Muhyiddin untuk memperkuat hubungan bilateral antara Indonesia dan Malaysia yang sudah terjalin baik selama ini.
Sarawak Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg said Tan Sri Muhyiddin should be given time to settle down before proceeding with his tasks, including looking into the needs of Sarawak. He said while the support of Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS that he led had helped pave the way for Tan Sri Muhyiddin to become the Prime Minister, GPS was not in a hurry to pursue its requests to the new federal leader. Speaking to reporters after making a working visit to Serikin, Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari said, though the federal leadership had changed, GPS would not concede Sarawak's demands for its rights under the Malaysia Agreement in 1963 to be restored.
That's why we support Muhyiddin. At the same time, our interest is
Asked on why GPS ditched its support for Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad to continue as Prime Minister, Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari said the former had not been consistent in his stand. There is no need for the Dewan Rakyat to convene a special meeting to determine the majority support for 8th Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. Past President Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi Awang said Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah's decision to appoint Tan Sri Muhyiddin as Prime Minister was based on the views of members of Parliament and the number of political parties which supported the Pagoh MP for the post. Speaking at a press conference after a special meeting of the party's Central Committee yesterday, Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi said PAS hoped that the new government would be fair in ensuring the well-being of the people regardless of race, religion and political belief.
PAS mengharapkan kerajaan persekutuan mengutamakan agenda memulihkan ekonomi, merapatkan jurang kaya miskin, meningkatkan tahap pendidikan dan pembangunan seimbang di Semenanjung, Sabah dan Sarawak. Seterusnya menjaga prinsip federalisme dengan negeri-negeri.
Asked on the possible composition of the new cabinet, Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi, who is Marang MP, said this matter had not been discussed yet and would be decided soon. The last time PAS was part of the federal government was in 1974. Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Datuk Muhammad Arif Mat Yusof said he will officially be in touch with the Prime Minister's office today to seek clarification on the Parliament sitting. As of yesterday, he said there was no confirmation on the postponement of the Dewan Rakyat sitting scheduled for 9th of March.
Dalam ini nak tanya, nak pastikan kan ada 9 bulan akan ada
bagaimana apa ni Tan Sri dipastikan tu macam mana cara prosedurnya?
tulis pada itu.
So setakat ini pada kemungkinan perlukah stay dengan 9 hari bulan ni?
Saya bukan satu saya tidak memutuskan sekarang.
This is to decide if the third meeting of the 14th Parliament sessions, scheduled to be opened by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah on 9th March, will proceed or be postponed. All parties should respect Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah's decision in appointing Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as the 8th Prime Minister. This is because His Majesty has given enough time for all political parties to provide a possible candidate's name to see who commands the majority support before the palace made its final decision. Commenting on the latest political outcome, which ended a week-long political scenario in the country, political analyst Professor Dr. Sivamurugan Pandian said the continuous use of statutory declaration to challenge the decision could cause other impacts to the government.
Ia memberikan satu imej yang buruk kepada akuan bersumpah itu sendiri, kerana akan ada proses lompat-melompat, ada proses tawar-menawar, ada proses beli-membeli, pujukan dan seterusnya, seolah-olah tidak ada penghujung kepada akuan bersumpah dan tidak ada nilai kepada akuan bersumpah itu.
Speaking to RTM, he said the Royal Institution has established its wisdom in making the best decision to find a solution to the political situation in the country. Coming up, Selangor government rolls out a TB incentive. Stay with us. Welcome back. A trainee nurse has been infected with COVID-19, the first healthcare worker to be infected with the disease in Malaysia. The Health Ministry said the 20-year-old was one of the 4 new COVID-19 cases reported at noon on Sunday. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said in a statement, all the 4 cases were Malaysians and this brings the total number of those infected with COVID-19 to 29. The trainee, who was labelled as Case 27, was undergoing short-term training in a private hospital and had treated Case 24. She was identified as a close contact during tracing by the Health District Office. On 21st and 22nd February, she had handled the case without wearing any personal protective equipment as recommended. On 27th February, she started coughing and tested positive for COVID-19 on 29th February. She was sent to the isolation ward in Kuala Lumpur Hospital for treatment and further observation. Meanwhile, case number 26, a Malaysian man aged 52, had a history of travel to Shanghai, China in mid-January. He was admitted to the isolation ward in Hospital Sungai Buloh for treatment and further observation. Case 28 is a Malaysian man aged 45, a colleague of case number 25. He tested positive for COVID-19 on 29th February and was sent to the isolation ward in Hospital Sungai Buloh. Case 29 is a Malaysian woman aged 35 who was admitted to a private hospital on 21st February and placed in a room with case 24, whose situation was not known then. She tested positive for COVID-19 on 29th February and was sent to the isolation ward in Hospital Sungai Buloh. More than 2,000 tuberculosis or TB patients received 800 ringgit worth of treatment incentive each to go for full TB treatment in 6 months' time. The Selangor government's initiative involving 2 million ringgit allocation in the state government's 2020 budget was to treat TB disease. The incentive not only reduces the burden of the treatment cost, but will also ensure that the patients complete all their treatment sessions in hospitals. The patients can obtain the forms to apply for the incentive at hospitals, government clinics or community service centres. The payment for the incentive will be made in 3 transactions with 200 ringgit given in the first 2 months, followed by 200 ringgit for the next 2 months and 400 ringgit until the end of the treatment. An ex-army personnel who was mistaken for a wild animal was accidentally shot by his hunting partner in the incident which took place at Kampung Gong Genor in Pasir Putih, Kelantan on Saturday. The victim, Muhammad Sazuki Muhammad Safi'i, 48, died after the bullet of the weapon, a shotgun, hit him straight in the chest in the 7:30 p.m. occurrence. Kelantan Deputy Police Chief SAC Abdullah Mohamed Piahi yesterday said the victim was in the area to hunt for wild boars after being called by the villagers. He said the victim and his 69-year-old friend had come across a boar while travelling to the area. The victim was said to be coming out of the vehicle and scouting the area to detect boars passing in front of the vehicle. However, SAC Abdullah said at the time, the victim's friend, who allegedly saw the movement in the bushes, thought it was a wild animal and kept firing at the victim. SAC Abdullah said preliminary investigations found the victim, whose home address is Kampung Gong Champa, went out with his friends at around 2 p.m. to hunt for the wild boar. He said the victim's friend has now been remanded for 3 days for preliminary investigations under Section 302 of the Penal Code. SAC Abdullah said police advised the public to be more cautious in using firearms, especially in hunting activities, to prevent unwanted incidents from happening. Nearly 10,000 people attended a military tattoo held in conjunction with the 87th Army Day at Likas Stadium in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. Military tattoos comprise performances and displays of music, such as by a group of drummers who demonstrate the skill of handling musical instruments, as well as marching and disciplinary exercises by military personnel. Army Chief General Tan Sri Panglima Ahmad Hasbullah Mohammad Nawawi said the event, themed Army with the People at All Times, also aimed to educate the public on the importance of maintaining peace and security to ensure the nation remains sovereign.
Kita mesti bertanggungjawab. Jadi pada saya, rakyat juga adalah elemen yang penting dalam mempertahankan negara ini. Itu sebab dalam Defence White Paper ada whole of society.
The event also featured the screening of snippets from Bakara, a film made by the Army in collaboration with Act 2 Pictures Sdn Bhd and Adaza 88 Studios Sdn Bhd. Gracing the event were the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri of Sabah, Tun Juhar Mahiruddin, and his spouse, Toh Puan Nurlida R.M. Jasni. They were accompanied by the Chief Minister of Sabah, Datuk Sri Muhammad Shafie Apdal. The ceremony also witnessed the awarding of the Honorary Brigadier General rank to Datuk Sri Shafie, in effect on 28th January, which saw Shafie assuming the role of the patron of the Sabah State Servicemen's Support Committee. Coming up in sports, pocket rocketman Azizul wins sprint bronze at World Championships. Stay with us. The Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, congratulates Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin on his appointment as the 8th Prime Minister. FAM President Datuk Hamidin Mohamad Amin said, based on experience, he believed Tan Sri Muhyiddin understands the local sports scene, the demands of high-performance sports and good administration practices. In a statement, Datuk Hamidin said Tan Sri Muhyiddin is a man of high caliber as he had an experience as Youth and Sports Minister who introduced the Sports Development Act 1997, pioneered the foreign athlete naturalization process and organised the 1998 Commonwealth Games as well as the first Malaysian Formula One Grand Prix in Sepang in 1999. Datuk Hamidin hoped the federal government would continue to support the association in formulating integrated development policies to strengthen the local football scene. National Ace Track Cycling Muhammad Azizul Hasni Awang concluded the 2020 UCI World Track Cycling Championships with a bronze medal in the men's individual sprint event. The 32-year-old Dungun-born edged reigning bronze medalist Mateusz Rudik of Poland in the bronze medal race at the Velodrome, Berlin, Germany, to finally secure a podium finish in the event after 11 years. Azizul started off by breaking the Asian and national records with a time of 9.548 seconds to finish 5th among 34 riders in the qualifying round, erasing Japanese Tomohiro Fukaya's 9.609 seconds Asian record and renewing his own Malaysian national record of 9.760 seconds. Meanwhile, reigning champion Harry Leveresen retained the rainbow jersey after edging compatriot Jeffrey Hoogland in the all-Dutch final. Leveresen, who also won the Kirin event, had edged Azizul in the semi-finals. Felda United FC failed to take advantage of playing on home ground when they were held to a 1-1 draw by Petaling Jaya City FC in their opening Super League match at Stadium Tun Abdul Razak in Jengka last night. After a goalless first half, Mohammad Arif Farhan beat the PJ City FC defence before scoring in the 47th minute to put his team ahead. However, the joy of the settlers was short-lived as former national defender Mahali Jasuli caught the Felda United defence off guard to score after receiving a short pass from a free kick in the 74th minute. Meanwhile, in a match between two newcomers in the top league, Royal Malaysia Police PDRM and Sabah played to a goalless draw at the Kuala Lumpur Football Association Stadium in Cheras. However, PDRM are at the bottom of the table with -2 points after being docked 3 points by the Football Association of Malaysia for failing to settle their salary arrears problem. In the Premier League competition, host Pulau Pinang beat Sarawak United 4-2 at Stadium Bandaraya in Georgetown. Imported Brazilian striker Anselmo Arruda da Silva was the hero of the team when he scored 2 goals in the 7th and 40th minutes. Pulau Pinang's other 2 goals were scored by Muhammad Amir Azahar in the 36th minute and Endrick Dos Santos Parafita in the 53rd minute. Sarawak United reduced the deficit through Iranian import Milad Zanirpur Mansur in the 43rd minute and Brazilian striker Patrick Ronaldinho Uleh in the 63rd minute. And that concludes today's updates at noon. In our top story today, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin clocks in for duty. News on 2 comes on at 7 this evening. I'm Mona Priya. Thanks for watching.